Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Saturday. Thank you for joining us. This is our second live that we're doing. We started off last week, so if you missed it, just make sure to check into our channels. But yes, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this Saturday. Lovely morning. My name
Yes.
is Sharmila Rajasingham. I am a real estate agent here in the Greater Toronto area. Throughout this call, we want it to be as interactive as possible. If you have any
Yeah.
questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And if there's something that you want to ask us privately, you are more than welcome to direct messages after this call, and we'll be in touch. What we find is that when we're talking to first-time home buyers, they have a lot of questions.
Right.
And they're always, and you brought it a really good point, is sometimes they don't know where to go, so they often go to multiple different people, and they get a bit confused. I want to make sure that Carlos and I kind of sat together and we realized that we want to be able to kind of give as much information as possible, so that you know exactly what you're doing when you're going throughout your first time buying a home, your first home. We're going to do step one is about choosing a realtor, because the real estate agent is going to put you in touch with your mortgage agent potentially if you don't have contact with somebody already, or a lawyer, and really walking you through the full process. So today we're going to really dive into talking about how do you find the right real estate agent.
Right. Because there's just so many out there nowadays that it's like, which one is the right fit?
Yeah.
Right. So so figuring that out, I think that's essential and that's important.
And sometimes you'll realize like you meet somebody and you start working with them and you realize maybe they're not the right person for me, or I don't think they're answering my questions, and sometimes people, do you ever find that you're talking to somebody and you feel like you're not just getting them, they don't understand your questions? Maybe it's a language barrier, maybe it's a cultural thing, because people do have cultural things that they need, particularities that they need when they're looking for their home, and someone might not understand
a certain type of like even decoration in your home, right? Needs to be like either facing this way, facing that way. So being able to like, again, be able to say that to your realtor, understanding that as well yourself. I think that's like really important. And also even like as you as a client for the individual, not only looking for a realtor, but knowing that there are like rules and regulations out there for you that protect you as a client, as a first-time home buyer, right? And also knowing that, like, when if you are going and look, interviewing 3 different realtors, like these are even different relationships that you're building with them, right? So even as us realtors, like, we're not supposed to be working with other clients that have already a realtor, right? So being able to communicate that and knowing that there is, certain there's rules in place that also do help that. So I think like that's important, and being able to communicate.
Just take in the fact that this is one of the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life, and take it seriously and make sure you do your research. And sometimes when you're doing your research, it really means that you're looking and talking to multiple different people so that you choose the right person. But maybe, and when I say when you're talking to multiple people, I mean work with one person, right? Don't throw yourself into working with multiple people, because then now you're confusing yourself. You're not getting the best out of this one person that you're working with. So if you realize when you are working with a real estate agent and they ask you, are you working with somebody? And there's a reason for that. And exactly what Carlos said is that we want to make sure that we're not taking that business away from another real estate agent, which we want to be respectful of that, because they've been in touch with you, they're working with you, they're putting all their time and energy into you. So we want to make sure that we're not in any conflict. And especially if you're on contract with a real estate agent, we want to make sure that we're not, from a legality perspective as well.
Yeah. And even that, like, so to be like, where would you suggest like people even start looking to find a realtor? Like, what do you think is the best way?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times people usually jump to their family and friends, and and wherever you feel comfortable with. If you know somebody, you've been around them for a really long time, and you get their vibe, you understand them, that's great. But often, sometimes people find that their family member or friends, sometimes because you know them so well, and it's too close of a personal relationship, that you want to kind of have an outside perspective. So this is why I want to give you as many options as possible, that there isn't a right way to do something, right? So you want to do what's right for you. So for me, go on Instagram, go on YouTube, research. There's tons of people like you and I who are putting out content in your local area. And realtor.ca, it's a great place. A lot of, some of my clients come from realtor.ca. So people are on there looking at what, and go on the real estate agent's website, get to know them, read their biography, and you'll get to know, and because you realize that you do build a personal relationship by the end of it. All my clients were all friends, and you realize that you do get to know people on a personal level. So that's where I would start.
Yeah, 100%. And I definitely agree with that as well. And like, even like how you said, like, check out their Instagrams. A lot of everything now is on social media. Everything is online. So, I mean, I guess what would that benefit be to a new home buyer? If you see enough information out there, you see them, maybe do it like this, like, doing a YouTube video, doing a post, you'd be like, okay, you know what? That's someone that I would kind of want to, one, get to know, right? Especially if you don't know them,
yes.
right? And two, work with.
Yes.
Right. So being able to do that, checking online, checking most realtors out there have a social media presence, right? They're out in public. So therefore, or even someone that you see on a billboard.
Yeah.
Right?
And you also, I feel like you right away from just looking at the content, you try to get to know them on a personal level without even having to contact them. So I love that you said that, because now you get to know them in a way that, I can ask them these personal questions, because buying a home is a personal purchase, and you want to make sure that you vibe with that person and you kind of understand them, And why we're talking about even for step one being choosing the realtor is because they're going to be there with you every step of the way, ensuring that you choose your perfect home. And when I say perfect home, people usually say, what do you mean by a perfect home? To be honest, your dream home doesn't have to be your first home. However, your first purchase, your first home can be that perfect home for you. And what that means by that is that, does it fit your lifestyle? Does it fit your budget? Does it fit your long-term and short-term goals? And you won't be able to do that until you meet your real estate agent halfway and you ask the right questions. So one of the things that, one of my favorite questions when clients ask me, and even when I purchased my first properties, that I ask them about the market, I ask, and right away you'll know the way that the real estate agent's talking, if they're knowledgeable, and do they understand the local market. And it doesn't have to be hyper local. Remember, usually a lot of my clients that come to me and says, hey, I want to buy, in Scarborough, and then it end up being that they can only afford to buy in Oshawa, Whitby, or Ajax. So just be mindful that sometimes you might want to buy in Ajax and you find a real estate agent in Ajax, but it's a little bit beyond that, because a lot of our real estate agents, we do have access to the greater Toronto area. So don't get caught, because sometimes when you're Googling what kind of questions to ask a real estate agent or trying to find information, you realize that those questions can be misleading, because it's not one shoes fit all type kind of an idea.
It's which realtor is going to help you, right? If you're not experienced, or maybe what do they call it? Farming in one area. Mm-hmm. Right. But it's also the type of personality of the realtor that's willing to help you, willing to go that mile. Right. And I think with anything, it's learning. It's a learning process as well for everybody. As realtors, right? We grow, we start off one way, and then we grow to be these knowledgeable people all over the province. Right. Yeah. So I guess it's also the willingness of who's helping you out.
Yeah. And what common questions, do you ever find that one of the common questions people usually ask when you're working with somebody is like, hey, how long have you been in the business? And one of the things that I want to, talk about this is that, again, don't look at things for as it is. Go beyond that. It's because when you look at let's say a brand new agent, and I have a lot of brand new agents in my group, and they're super competent, super capable. And to be honest, there's some seasoned agents that I worked with in the past. And when I compare the two, the newer agents are more eager. They have a mentor, and they have access to readily information because this is their first or second or third transaction, and they're more careful about doing things. Where a seasoned agent, nothing is wrong with working with a seasoned agent, but what I'm saying is that they both can work. It really depends on what you're looking for, and they both could be capable. They both can be competent. They can, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter sometimes the years of experience someone may have, because it's really about them showing up. Are they listening to you? Are they present when you ask them a question? Do they give you the right information? You'll notice when you call me, I tell you exactly step by step of what you're going to get and a realistic idea of the market. And I give you a quick picture of how this is the game. Are you willing to play the game? And here's how I'm going to navigate this game for you.
Right. Yeah. To continue off of that, it's also realizing that these realtors are acting in your best interest.
You got it.
Right. So being able to know that. And again, if you feel, or maybe you don't think that this realtor, once you choose them, they no longer fit with you, then it's okay to part ways. Right. So again, like how we were saying, don't choose 5 realtors and work with all of them, but maybe choose one, try it out, give it enough time as well. Yourself, if maybe from the first meeting, you already don't kind of vibe, like how you said, or have that energy with them, then it's fine. Then go to your second one, right? Yeah. This could be a lot of also maybe to some extent just time passing, but it's sometimes like you have to feel good about it too.
Yes.
Right? Where you feel comfortable asking those questions, those tough questions. And as a realtor, right, finding a realtor that will give you that answer. It's like, you know what? Like I said, are you ready to play this game? Right? I mean, I don't know if that's even, but it's like, yeah, like this is what it is. This is the reality of things, right? Because in our minds, we make it like, oh, maybe it's not that much. Maybe it's easy. Maybe it's this. But like giving the right information.
Realistic information too. And I do want to let everybody know that there is, there's general responsibility, that obligations that we owe to agents as owe to our clients as real estate agents, as fiduciary obligations that we owe to our clients. So I want you to know that you, as a first-time buyer, make sure you ask for this. They not only have to act with care and skill, they have to negotiate in your behalf. They have to maintain confidentiality. So make sure that, and they have to disclose information too. And they have to disclose information if there's any kind of conflict of interest, and they have to ensure that they're honest and they act on your behalf and obey your instructions, and they show, and they're transparent, and they show you right information to you. So if there's anything that they speak to another agent, with a co-op agent, they have to come and share that information with you. So they're not making decisions on your behalf unless you give them permission to, but they are performing the duties as they should. So there are number of obligations that we as real estate agents have to do in order to protect you. Hence why, Carlos said, we're here to serve your best interest and to protect your best interest. So make sure that we want to let you know that, we have your utmost loyalty and that there isn't going to be any conflict of interest. And then if there is multiple parties that we're representing in a transaction, which, that we're communicating and disclosing that information of what that is. And if there's no secret profit being made, do you know what I mean? Like there's a number of things that protect you as a client as well. And make sure that you speak to your agent about that and make sure they're honest with you about, in that initial conversation you have with them, this should come up, all of this conversation.
Right. And also, like, I mean, everything is online as well, right? Like how we mentioned. So, I mean, even like our rules, our regulations, how real estate agents are, right, regulated. So it's like, go online and you can check all of that out, understanding what you need as a first-time home buyer, right? Because maybe you are a very savvy, like, you just know, like you do a lot of research yourself, so you already know a lot about it. So maybe you then don't need like that client relationship. You can also get like a customer relationship where you just need someone to help you fill out documents. Right. Yes. So there is different, like even like services that could be offered to you as a first-time home buyer. So being aware of that and understanding, again, what you need, right? What is gonna satisfy or help you move into home ownership? That is, again, I think it ties back. That is essential.
Exactly. Right? And talking, I think talking about finding the right real estate agent, you also have to think about the consequences of you not finding the right agent too.
Right.
Because could be detrimental. Your first purchase, and for a lot of the people, some of my clients, their first purchase is often a stepping stone to them buying another property in the future. And usually it becomes an investment property for them. And it could be detrimental that if you're not buying a property that you're not even able to afford. So make sure that you're speaking to them about, cost associated with purchasing a home, asking all the right information up front to make sure that not only are you getting the right information, reliable information that's going to help you navigate this transaction in the best way possible, protecting you as a client.
Right. Yeah. And ultimately that's, our responsibility. And that's why we're here, right? To make this as easy, because sometimes it could be like, it could seem hard, right? But we're here to like make it easier, give you as much information, right? Like that's what realtors are there, real estate agents are doing. So again, like being able, like, I guess if we're going to go back and kind of like say from the beginning, recap, choose the one, right? Choose a good realtor, go online, check their social media, their YouTube, ask questions, right? And realtors should be very free to be like, you have a question or a doubt, here.
Yes.
You can read up on it. This is where I can direct you to the information, right? If you were to ask someone how are realtors regulated, here you go. You can go to the website and read up on, our obligations to you.
You got it. And then really good point, Carlos. And to wrap everything up, folks, remember, at the end of the day, you're going to find someone who you understand. You are able to ask a lot of questions. They understand the market. They have market information. They can handle negotiations on your behalf, and they can negotiate for you. They're going to help you perform the due diligence, ensuring that you're protected throughout the full transaction, making sure they're communicating with you at all times. They're giving you, and even just agreements, walking you through the form, understanding, making sure that you're comfortable throughout the full transaction, putting you in contact with multiple contacts like lawyers, inspectors, mortgage agents, etc. And one thing that I do wanted to let you know is that, you want to find somebody who's really well connected, who's connected and who understands what's out there, the listings. They do have access to the right tools. One thing that Carlos and I have, because we work at a virtual brokerage, we have access to smart technology. So we're going to put you on alerts that you're going to get the most up-to-date listing in your mailbox. You're going to get communication from us throughout the process, and we're going to make sure that you are forefront of everything that we do, and we make sure that we protect your best interests at all times. So really, in a nutshell, those are some of the things that I would look for when I'm choosing a real estate agent.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're on the same page. I think we definitely would.
Thank you so much for everyone that's watching. And if you have any questions about you getting into home ownership, have any questions about first-time home buyer, just stay connected with us, because we're going to be going through the full process of you not only finding today that you learned about finding the right agent, getting pre-approval, pre-positioned on a financial perspective for a property, doing the home search, putting in an offer, doing your due diligence, and then the final stage, closing. So we'll cover step by step everything that you need to know in order for you to buy your first home. So if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to get in touch with us.
Yes, for sure. Yes, and thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us Saturday morning, early in the morning. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you.
Yeah, thank you. And just if you, again, like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our content, and stay connected. Thanks so much, Carlos, for joining me as well.
Thank you, Sarita. Have a good Saturday. Enjoy.
Have a good Saturday. Bye, everyone.